It's the Science Thomas from the Science Thomas Show, and I just wanted to kind of go over some of the feedback that we've been getting from the Hillary for Prison t-shirts. I tell you what, these are definitely a conversation starter, and knowing that I'm an observer of politics as well as a commentator, just seeing the reactions, I can tell you, I went and saw Kenny Rogers last night at the Phrase, and I wore this t-shirt. Let me tell you what, I had nothing but smiles, grins, thumbs ups, fist pumps, you name it. People were like, I really like your t-shirt. Of course, I'd shout back, infowars.com. And then, of course, the funniest thing is that on the way back to the vehicle, I was walking down one of the side roads, and there was a pretty good crowd out there. I'd shouted, Hillary for prison! And I heard like 4 or 5 people going, yeah! And then we go, lock her up, lock her up. So it's interesting that there's such a crowd going on. And then I did something else. I went and got a bite to eat at a Waffle House, and I had my Trump hat on as well as this shirt. And actually, a light-skinned black girl that was behind the counter looked at me kind of confused. It's like, so what you for, Trump or Hillary? I was like, well, obviously for Trump. I said, the shirt guy says, oh, Hillary for prison. Kind of got a little bit of a dismayed look. Obviously, she's a Democrat, but nevertheless, these shirts really do stand out. And of course, you probably have seen the photo I've got of me standing next to the stand-up of Hillary at the Warren County Democratic Party's booth there at the Warren County Fairgrounds. And actually, I tagged like 4 or 5 guys from Infowars on there, and David Knight retweeted it. So it actually didn't go totally viral, but it definitely got a lot of retweets and likes on it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But, these shirts are really starting to get popular. I just saw a video from Infowars where they, I guess, has got another version of a t-shirt that Joe Biggs is wearing. It says Hitlery, and it's got a picture of Hillary on it with Hitler's mustache. And some guy from the Democrat Party, I think it was Minnesota Democrat Party, who actually did not like the t-shirt at all. He wasn't shitty about it. He just basically was like, do you like this? I said, no. This is welcome to our party, join our party, blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously partaking of free food and this, that, and the other, but I think it's pretty funny. But again, I thought it was kind of comical, nevertheless. I think it's a little over the top, and really, those who've watched The Greatest Story Never Told would actually be offended that they would compare Hillary to Hitler itself. It's actually an insult to the Führer, because when you understand history and know why Hitler did what he did, you're kind of like, oh wow, dude, you can see him in a whole new perspective. It's no different than a lot of us look at George Armstrong Custer and see him in the real light that he was actually foolish to attack the Indians at the Battle of Little Bighorn, and then to top it off, he divided his forces and totally got massacred. So he screwed himself. So we don't see him as a great folk hero as he was portrayed to be, that our grandparents and great-grandparents had always seen him to be as American folk hero, fought the last stand, So there is, when revision does come and new information comes to light that sets the narrative straight, I don't care where it is in history, whether it's something Caesar may have done, something that Vercingetorix did, or something that Charlemagne did, or even Catherine the Great. If there's something that actually straightens out a part of history, whether it's either mystified, totally construed wrong, whatever the case may be, it's our duty to set the record straight. Because there are going to be people at the time that are propagandists. They're going to want to make sure that the history has a certain narrative, such as we know the K-10 massacre was not the Nazis that killed all these Polish soldiers, it was the Soviets. The Brits knew this, and they kept it under wraps for decades because they wanted to make it look like the Nazis did it, but it was the Soviets. So, so we also understanding with the Federal Reserve and everything else, that people are starting to get it. I think Ron Paul has opened the door a lot for people understanding the Fed. I think his candidacy in 08 and 12 was key to wake some people up to start looking at the bigger picture. And Trump is just kind of the culmination of this because he is a nationalist. And what screwed Rand Paul is that he did not start attacking the Fed until late in his candidacy. But it was too late. It looked like a desperate move. And then when he pushed his audit the Fed bill, it looked like grandstanding. He should have been pushing that from the beginning the whole time. And not to mention, day 3 after he announces his candidacy, he's already meeting with a whole bunch of a group of influential Jews. So, automatically that should have discredited Rand Paul in the Ron Paul vote because he's already pandering to those other parties, where Ron wouldn't have done that. Ron is a nationalist first. You can hear it in his statements. He's a statesman. He's not going to genuflect to Israel where Rand did. And we had also put out pictures. We had Rand Paul at the Wailing Wall with his beanie cap on, doing the fucking prayer thing on the wall shit. So right off the bat, dude, he's compromised. So again, that was like me going to going to Mecca, or going to maybe Babylon, or going to some Tibetan temple, or going to some place in Thailand for Buddhist temple or something like that. I mean, it's terrible, because then you actually you look like you're pandering to a certain group. I'm not saying, oh, just because you go to Israel, you're obviously pro-Jew. You know, I mean, again, you're a Christian, you're probably bamboozled, and you're automatically going to go that way. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter what your religious persuasion is. Don't make that the main center point of your doctrine, because it will affect how you govern. So, I mean, it's good to have regard, but don't make it a theocratic platform instead of a republic platform. And I don't mean republic as a Republican Party. I mean republic as in, you got to take all religions, all groups, and all creeds into play when you put forth legislation, especially if it does trample on someone else's religious beliefs or doctrines. But how's it Obamacare is not enforced for Muslims or Amish, because in fact the Muslims don't believe in insurance. They see it as a lottery, and which is gambling. And the Amish obviously don't partake in any of that type of stuff too, so they're all exempt. So why is it certain groups can be exempt, but all the rest of us have to be enslaved under this plan? So those are some things you got to look at. Every time you go put forth legislation, how is it going to affect the groups? And you must say, well, it's for the better good for everybody. Well, it's all fine and good. You want to have a tax rate for a particular thing, that's fine. But again, why is it you're against having raw milk production or distribution? Because you're not getting a piece of the pie, is what it really boils down to. Same with these e-cigarettes. They're trying to figure out not how to ban them, because they don't want them because they can't be taxed. That's the only reason why they're wanting to go against them, because they don't know how to tax it. Tax like any other product. Just that's why you need to go to the fair tax as a example, a national tax. So that way you just know that you go to England, what you see on the sticker is what you pay. The tax is already figured into that price. Where here in America, because there's so many different tax rates, you don't know what to pay. $14.99, okay, gee, it's 7 cents on every dollar, plus you get this. Okay, I'm going to pay this much. So those are things you have to look at. But bottom line is, you definitely want to get one of these and wear it out, because these do catch people's eye. Personally, I think they need to underscore this red a little bit deeper, so that way it really accents prison. But nevertheless, I get a lot of smiles. I've only seen a couple of scowls. But if you got the stones to wear one of these, you are the resistance. Salancha Mahath. SundayThomas.com, ResolutionRDO.com. And check out my show every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Resolution Radio Network at ResolutionRDO.com. See you, fuckers.
Is that already?